Welcome back. I hope you were able to complete the little challenge in the last lecture. In this lecture, we will see how we can pass data between multiple functions in templates. Let's talk about a scenario. I have to find the area of a circle. Area of a circle is usually calculated by the formula pi times radius square, where radius is the radius of the circle. This can be done using just one function. But just for this lecture, I'm going to write two different functions. The first function will be used to calculate the square of radius, and we will take the square of radius and pass it to our second function, and this second function will return us the area of circle. Let's see how we are going to do that. Just for this lecture, I'm going to delete everything we have and we will start from scratch. Let me also delete base HTML, base 2, index HTML and everything inside the templates folder. So I'll delete everything and we will start from scratch. So I've deleted the templates folder and I'm going to delete base HTML. Let's also delete base 2 HTML. And finally, let's also delete index HTML. This will be a good exercise. We are going to start from scratch. So I'll write package main. And now let's import the packages. So I'll write import. We need fmt. We need the text/template. And let's keep this for now. Let's also import log. And we also need to create file. So let's also import os package. Now let's create our template variable. So I'll write var tpl. And this will be of type template.template, pointer to template.template. And now let's create our init function. So I'll write func init. And here I'm going to write tpl is equals to template.must. And here I'll write template.new. Let's give empty strings for now. And then here I'll write parse glob. And I want to parse everything with the extension of .go HTML. So I'll write everything with .go HTML. So this is how we are going to parse all the templates. Now let's write our main function. So I'll write func main. And now let's create a new file. So I'll write file and error, and this will be os.create. And let's give the name of our file, which is index.html. And let's check the error. If error is not equals to nil, we'll just log it. So log.fatal error. Now let's defer file.close so that it can be used for other operations. And now I'm going to create a new variable called details, and this will be the radius of circle. So I'll write map string. So key will be string and value will be float64 like this. And let's give the key as radius and the value will be, let's say 2.2. Let's put a comma in the end. And now let's execute our template. So I'll write error is equals to tpl.execute template, and the template I want to and first we need to give a writer. So writer will be our file, and now we need to give the template name which we want to execute. So in this case, this will be base.gohtml, and I want to pass details as our data. Let's check the error. So if error is not equals to nil, then I just want to log it. So log.fatal error. You can see that I'm going way too fast because all these things we have already discussed. All right, so now we need two functions. Before that, let me just create a func map. So I'll write var function map, and this will be of type map string to any. And here we need to write our functions. So the key will be a string. So let's write sqr or square. This will be the function which we are going to use to find the square of radius, and the value will be sqr. And then the next function will be area, and the function name will be area again. Now we need to create these two functions. So let's quickly create it. sqr. This function is going to take num of type float64 and this will return float64. So let's just write return num times num, and then we need the area function. So I'll just quickly write it, func area, and this will take radius square, which is of type float64. This function is going to return float64, and let's just return pi, which is 3.14 times square radius, which is this. So everything is set. We don't need the fmt package, so I'll just delete it. And now we have everything we need. Let's save everything. And now we need to pass this function map. So after this template.new, I'm going to write dot funcs, and here I'm going to give my function map, which is like this. So let's save everything, and now we don't have any errors. Everything is working perfectly. Now let's create our base GoHTML file. So I'll write base.gohtml, and let's change the type to HTML so that we can use emmet like this. And now this is our basic template. And now I'm going to write the h1. I'll just write circle area. Let's just print out the radius first. So I'll write a p tag. Let's just close it before I forget. And I'll write radius is equals to double curly braces, and inside double curly braces I'm going to write dot radius, and then again a p tag. Let's just close it, and inside this second p tag we need to calculate the area. So I'll just write area is equals to, and now we have to use the functions which we have written to find the area of circle. So let's see how we can do that. So I'll write double curly braces, and first I'll write dot radius, and then I'll pass this radius to the square function. So we can pass like this. Earlier in previous lectures we have written a different syntax. So this is another syntax for writing the same thing. We will take our radius and pass it to the square function. We are using a pipe symbol. So whenever we use a pipe symbol, the value written to the left side will be passed to the function written on right side of the pipe function. Now this will give us the square of radius. Now we can take the output and pass it to another function called area. So first we take the radius and pass it to the square function, then we get the output of the square function and pass it to the area function. So basically we are taking the output from one function and passing it to the next function, and this is known as pipelining. So let's save everything. Let's check it one more time. We have base GoHTML here, and we are creating the index, and we are going to create the index.html file, and we will populate the contents of index.html by the contents of base GoHTML. So now let's open our terminal and let's write go run main.go, and there you go, we have index.html created. Let's open it, and you can see that we have radius as 2.2 and we have area as 15.1976. So this is how we are going to pass the data from one function to another function. All right, let's take a pause here and let's do another exercise in the next lecture. So I'll see you in the next one.